Niners fans, it's about that time. Sunday night, 5 p.m. You know what time it is. Faithful Niner Empire. What's good? You know who it is. It's your boy, Jay in the Bay. Always a pleasure and an honor to be on with the best fans in the NFL, the faithful, the Niner Empire. The 49ers, we actually have football now. We have actually legitimate football to talk about. At least we saw some of the ones in our first preseason game against the Green Bay Packers. We're starting off the preseason 1-0. There are a lot of great things we saw. There are a lot of players that could use some improvement, but that's what practice in the preseason is all about. Today is a special show. I have a special guest with me today. You guys might know him. Make sure you like this video, you subscribe, you hit that bell notification, and also check out the gentleman I'm about to bring on. He recently hit 5,000 subscribers on his own YouTube channel. I have all his social media links in the description of the video. You know how Jay in the Bay does it. Make sure you check this gentleman out. Let's say, what's good? 49ers first takes, man. How you doing today, man?
Doing good. Start my vacation today, and what a better way than to come on Jay's channel, which I haven't been on probably, like we said, since May, and talk real, actual 49er stuff. We're not pie in the sky and just like thinking about things. So this is actual like tangible things we can talk about. So I'm excited.
Absolutely, man. It's good to have you on. It's been a minute, like you said, that we have collabed, so it's always good to come back together. We haven't collabed since May. A lot has gone on from May up until now, but it's always good to have a YouTube buddy, YouTube brother on with me. Yes, 49ers First Takes. If you haven't heard of 49ers First Takes, make sure you check him out. All his social media links are in the description of this video. Puts out great 49er content, and there's a reason why he's hit 5,000 subscribers. And continue to build on your brand, man. I got to hit you off first with an icebreaker. Let me set the mood. So let's say just got off from work and you want to relax, unwind your mind from your job's stress. You want to not think about your family stress, work stress. You just want to unwind. What's the first thing you're turning on your TV to help you unwind?
What I would turn on my TV? Does it have to be my TV? Is that kind of a rule?
Could be, or it could be a video game. It could be a movie. Whatever you like to watch, and obviously not football related.
Man. Sometimes when I like to relax after work, I like, this is gonna be really weird. You guys are gonna think I'm strange. I like outdoors channels, like people that do like, people who like, I'm trying to think of it. Survivor Man, Bear Grylls. I like more like the YouTubers that do, where they bring minimal stuff. They make their own shelters. You know, they bring their food. They have to cook it like as if they were roughing it in the Old West and stuff.
Right.
I like that kind of stuff. I usually get like a cup of coffee, and especially if I don't have to go to work the next day, I'll stay up late watching those kind of videos. That's kind of puts me in a like really good headspace, because I've thought about doing that with someone. I don't have any like equipment as far as like tent and other stuff, but getting away from actual like civilization and just like being alone and not having to hear noise and lights and all that stuff is really, really relaxing. So to watch somebody do it on a YouTube video and they're talking just to you, the viewer, and that's all they have, it's pretty, I don't know. That's kind of like my go-to, which I said, it's really weird.
Now there's no doubt it's very refreshing to put the phone down. I know I mentioned what's your favorite thing to watch, but as YouTubers, as people who are on social media, it's always nice just to like, I don't know how you feel. I feel like I need to schedule time to like put the phone down. Like, don't touch the phone for the next 2 hours. Just chill with the fam. And it's always good to get away. Got to ask you, do you watch Naked and Afraid?
No.
I have to watch it. You got to check it out.
Oh, hell no.
Yes.
My brother had it on his TV one day, and I'm just like, get out of here with that.
But that's exactly what you were just referring to.
No, see that they're trying to replicate
skills.
Adam and Eve before they got clothes. So that's what they're trying to do. I no. I can't. The naked thing just kills it for me. I feel like it's just a way to get viewers in.
Well, they blur it out, but I think it's cool just to see someone who's got to be, 21 days. They got to hunt for their food. They got to make fire. They got to make shelter.
That would be tough.
Yes. So it's interesting to watch. But yeah, I just wanted to pick your brain a little bit, see where you're at, see what you like to do to relax, unwind. That's actually one of my favorite shows to watch. I'm kind of into it right now, along with like Power. Power's coming back tonight. So those
I got Cobra Kai in September.
Cobra Kai, okay.
Looking forward to Cobra Kai. I love listen, guys. I am a pop culture. I'm a pop culture person. Like as far as the '80s, I was born in '79, so I grew up through the '80s and the '90s. Transformers, Karate Kid.
I bet you watch Stranger Things, huh?
I love Stranger Things.
Yeah,
the first season really takes me back because I knew a ton of people when I was a kid who played Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
Just the music, the era. It was like before internet. It was before cell phones. It was everything was organic. Like I remember, I don't know if you know about that ET game that was made that was like the worst game ever made, and they buried it in like Mexico and some like landfills and stuff. I remember playing that game with a friend on Atari. Like I owned an Atari as a kid. I didn't own it, but my folks got it for us. Yeah. But I don't know, man. I'm like an 80s dude. So anything that can like take me back to the 80s, any show, like I said, Cobra Kai is it's what happens to the people from the original Karate Kid movie all these years later and where their life is and stuff. But instead of it focusing on the Karate Kid, it focuses on the guy that was perceived as the villain, and it kind of paints people who you thought were villains in a different light, and it kind of almost makes you feel for them. And kind of almost thinks like makes you feel like the hero is actually kind of the jerk sometimes. So I like how shows that are able to change the narrative a little bit. And, it's got young kids from this era, and then it kind of harkens back to the 80s too. So it's always good.
Okay. Hey, that might be something I might have to check out. But hey, man, I appreciate your thoughts on that.
Absolutely.
And a Jay in the Bay show is nothing without the people in the chat who are contributing to the channel and contributing to this live stream. So let's say, what's good? Nicho TV, I appreciate you tuning into the stream, man. Appreciate those kind words. He says, Jay in the Bay, it's the GOAT, man. I appreciate that. Marty Williams, what's good? That's an interesting avatar you got there, man. LeBron James in the San Antonio Spurs jersey. That's pretty good. He says, what's up, Jay in the Bay? How you doing, Marty? NYCE, what's good? He says, what's good, Jay in First Take? Hope everyone is having a great Sunday, and everyone who is watching this channel, appreciate it, and hope you guys are having a great Sunday as well. Blue True, what's good? Happy Sunday, J and A. How about being on the Survivor show? Would you ever be on a Survivor show?
No,
I don't think I would either.
I don't want people to see me in my weak moments, how pathetic I would act, and they'd be like, "Wow, First Takes is a complete
on national TV in front of millions of people." That's pretty good.
That's a good way to never. I mean, I've been single a long time, but that's a good way to never get a lady.
That's funny. NYC, he says, Jay, I'm all for power, but I can't get into Raising Cain. It just feels like another 50 Cent get rich or die trying. LOL. That's funny because that show comes back today, season 2. I'm looking forward to it. But hey, I appreciate your thoughts, NYCE. Now let's talk about let's get into 49er talk after that icebreaker. Let's talk about the 49ers practice today, and I'm going to put on the screen a tweet from Cam Inman, who was present at 49ers camp today. Now this was day 13. And Cam Inman says, the 49ers had an hour practice, shortest of camp, no pads, no fans. I think this was the first practice with no fans in attendance. Now, it's interesting what took place at this practice. Deebo Samuel had 4 carries on the first 6 snaps. He also had 1 run his previous 8 practices since the extension. So could this be, Kyle Shanahan's preview of his playbook? Could this be something that we'll see that Deebo Samuel will do in the regular season? And also, do you want Deebo Samuel to really run in the regular season, as far as taking, snaps, taking handoffs from Trey Lance, or do you want to save him for the postseason? Your thoughts?
As far as Debo goes, I don't mind the occasional running with Debo, but I would like to see them take a little bit off his plate as far as that goes, because I just think you're shortening his career and you're shortening his ability to stay healthy just because, we all know how physical he plays. He's a contact initiator. He doesn't shy away from it, just like Kittle. So to me, I think it's important to try to preserve guys as much as you can. They're just trying things. Like they said it was a clunky kind of whatever day. I saw the stats of 4 of 15 for Lance, but there was 3 drops and a throwaway. So I think sometimes you have to look at things and put context on it. And I think a lot of what's going on right now is all of us are so fixated on Trey Lance in practice. We got to concentrate on what happens in games.
Yeah.
Because I think practice is more of a try things out type of thing. I'm not saying that he's, I would like to see him have days where he's not so erratic and poor numbers, but he had 3 drops. That's 3 more completions plus a throwaway. That's another completion. Then it would have made him 8 of 15. So I understand that people got to report and some people want to keep that narrative going of like, see, he's still erratic. It's going to take him a while, yada, 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 which is true. I think the thing with Trey, what I'm looking for this year with Trey Lance is just an ability to get better as far as repeating the same delivery. We know he has the vision and the mind for the game. It's the repeating the same throws and mechanics that seems to be his biggest issue with his inaccuracy. So Josh Allen did it in his 3rd year. He was a 52% completion percentage guy in his 1st year. He was up near 70 last year. So I think Trey can have the same trajectory. But yeah, when you see a practice that was like that, he's going against that defense, man. That defense is no joke. And the fact I think it said Drake Jackson actually played, he actually practiced.
Yeah,
that was huge for me. I don't know about you, but I was like, oh. And found out it was just a stinger the other day. That made me happy. So, Fred Warner is the best middle linebacker in the NFL. Look at the 2 guys who were involved in the play, dude. Bosa, Warner. So
right.
I'm always a little concerned when I see Lance's numbers, but at the end of the day, like I said, games is where it matters. So as long as he keeps continuing to get better in games and he can learn from his mistakes, I'm not really worried.
Yeah, I agree with your thoughts about, Trey Lance in practice. He's going up against one of the best defenses, I think, in the Kyle Shanahan era. D'Amico Ryans he's in his 2nd year as a defensive coordinator. It seems like if the 49ers have another, top 5, top 7 defense, D'Amico Ryans this will probably be his last year with the 49ers, and he'll probably be promoted to a head coaching job for another NFL team. And Kyle Shanahan's coaching tree, you look at Robert Saleh, you look at Mike McDaniels, like he knows how to churn out coaches, and he knows how to make them do their best while he's under with the 49ers. So you got to take that into account with Trey Lance. And as you said, it's about the accuracy. It's about, especially on short throws, it seems like sometimes he can be a little wild. I don't know if it's jitters. I don't know if it's mechanics, but I think it's something that we will see him continue to get better as the season goes on. Week 1 versus the Bears is going to be a lot different versus week 10 versus our opponent when we're talking about Trey Lance. So I'm not too concerned when I see, the stats from practice. I just think he's going to continue to get better. And as far as Deebo Samuel, it's funny. Deebo Samuel has had a tumultuous offseason. I've said this before. There was issues with his contract extension. Did he want to still play running back? Did he not? I know we hadn't talked about this since May. And it's interesting now that Deebo got his money. He's happy. I think the 49ers will continue to use him in that wide back role. There's a reason why he got that $58 million guaranteed. That's part of what makes Deebo special, is not only he can catch the ball, but he can run the ball. It seems at times he is the 49ers best running back, if we're keeping it real.
Yep.
And, I think we shouldn't really use him in that role in the regular season, but come playoff time, I think, anything's possible. You got to win when you have to win. question I wanted to ask you specifically about Deebo Samuel. Is it all forgotten? All the noise that happened in the offseason for you? I know fans say, hey, I could never root for Deebo the same, especially since he said, hey, I want to get traded. Or, once Deebo starts scoring touchdowns, hey, I'm a Deebo fan. What do you say to that?
I'm already over it, man. As soon as he signed that contract, I was like, whatever. I think him showing up at mandatory OTAs and being there at training camp said a lot about him. His camaraderie with the coach and other players that were there. I think it just goes to, it's a business, and that's how contract negotiations in the new age work. Guys use their social media to send messages and stuff. Apparently what he said, a lot of it had to do with communication, that the communication got better as the time went along. Listen, the Niners are in the business of trying to save money, and Deebo's in the business of trying to make that money.
Exactly.
So everybody's got to get something out of a contract negotiation. That's why they call it a negotiation. It's not, threatening somebody like, listen, you're going to sign this contract. It doesn't work like that. Like, there was no way he was ever going to leave that building. They would have had to get a haul to get him to be replaced. And there's no guarantee. We talked about this in May. This whole we'll just draft this guy and replace him, and that'll be all said and done. No, it doesn't work like that. Deebo's special for a reason. So how many teams are now trying to draft their own version of Deebo Samuel? You know what I mean? So
he's not out there. I mean, he's
a one of a kind,
very
dude.
Unique, one of a kind. No, exactly.
That Senior Bowl, when he was there, he talked about it that's when he kind of met with the 49ers brass. The Niners have been in love with him since that Senior Bowl. That dude is a bully with the ball. I wish he wouldn't run as much, but Niner Sickness, Beto, go check his channel out, by the way, said it best. He's like, you got to play football. You can't worry about getting injured. You just got to just play. And you're trying to win. You use your best players and you put them in positions to make plays. And this whole thing of trying to preserve people and be super cautious. Just you get injured. It's part of football. So it's hard for me. Sometimes I kind of think of it in the save everybody and keep them healthy. But you're right. You got to play. You got to make do with what you got. So I'm definitely stoked. I was never really mad at him. He's a young man trying to make money on his first big contract in the NFL. Get your paper, get your bag, dude. The only people that were mad because there was the report that he might have wanted to leave. That's just part of it, dude. You pay somebody enough money, they'll stay. Look at Robbie Gould. He didn't want to be here. The Niners paid him, and all of a sudden he's all super jacked to be in training camp and this, that, and the other. Money has a funny way of making people all of a sudden enjoy something that they might not. So
no, absolutely. Money changes everything. And Deebo Samuel, he was in a negotiation. This is the first time he's ever negotiated a contract of this amount of money. And he pulled out all the stops. He did whatever he did to work his leverage, and I respect that. And I'm like you. I'm over it, and I'm glad he'll be with the Niners at least until he's 29, and hopefully he'll retire a 49er.
Yes.
Speaking
I gotta say one thing to you though.
Yeah.
I love that new microphone you got.
Hey, appreciate it, man.
You are part of the Shore family now. Awesome.
Nice. Yeah, they have some of the best mics, man. So I appreciate it. Speaking of too many snaps, like Niner Sickness said, man, shout out to Niner Sickness.
Yeah.
Trey Lance, only 10 snaps in the preseason. Did you want to see more, or was that too many snaps? What say you?
What I saw was just fine for me.
That's fine. Okay.
I have no qualms about preseason snaps. Kyle Shanahan said that the practice in the scrimmages, he'd rather just do that than ever play games. And I completely agree. Preseason is a drag. I was looking for him to kind of pop off, and he in the blaze that he was in there, he popped. The thing with Trey is you have to live with some of the inaccuracy and the clunkiness of his game because of his ability to do what we saw. You can't tell me when, in your mind's eye, you can remember Jimmy Garoppolo ever having that much air under a pass before it got to a receiver. It was usually 5 yards, a cloud of dust, and then the receiver would do the rest.
Yeah.
The rawness of Trey, I'm willing to deal with that because there's things that he can do. he's like the new age quarterback, man. He can move. The way he ran, the way he was in the pocket the other day, and he stepped up and he avoided the rush. The fact that he felt the rush is a sign of growth.
Yeah.
He didn't want to run at first. He was still looking to throw. And that little hesitation, that little pump fake got the defense to stop just enough to where he could get up the sideline and he almost get that first down. So I think he played just enough snaps. I know they're not playing any starters this week.
Right.
And I would be surprised if it was something similar the final game. I don't want to see Debo play. I don't want to see Ayuk play. I don't want to see Kittle play. I don't want to see Trent Williams play. I don't want to see Warner play. I don't want to see Ward. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
The Niners know what they have. A lot of these teams know what they have by this time of the training camp portion of their offseason or their preseason, whatever. And like he said, he'd rather just go against other teams in scrimmages. So the Niners, for the most part, are pretty locked at and who's going to make their as far as their 53. Yeah. It's just a matter of certain other players maybe vying for a position. But yeah, I think he played just enough. That touchdown to me, if you listen to the broadcast, Tim Ryan was like, I think we've seen enough or something like that.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
We didn't need to see any more. So
I believe that was like the 9th or 10th snap. I think it was the 10th snap, I believe. So it was a perfect send-off. From a fan perspective, I would love to see Trey Lance more in preseason. Obviously you don't want to see anyone get hurt, but
no,
the one negative aspect of Trey Lance right now is just the lack of experience.
Yeah, reps.
And he's got to get the reps in preseason. So I would love to see more, but I respect Kyle Shanahan's decision. And I think he knows best at this point, and he doesn't want to get guys hurt. And you got to remember as well that like you said, Trent Williams isn't going to really play that much in preseason. So you have like a second tier offensive lineman, blocking for Trey. That's not that's not a good idea either. So, it'll be interesting to see what happens in the 49ers and Vikings joint practices. It seems like a majority of the players will play, in those practices, but not in the second preseason game, which makes sense. I believe the 49ers have 3 preseason games in like 17 days or something.
Yeah.
It's something like 17 to 20 days.
Really stupid.
Yeah, that is. I don't know why they would do that. It doesn't make sense at all.
No, it doesn't.
I don't get it.
And you can understand too, like there's a 17-day gap between the final preseason game and week 1. So
right. So they could have, spread that out a little bit more, right? You would think.
They're kind of almost, for all the practicing and all the off-season stuff, they're going to get a nice little, almost like a half month off before they
2
go.
bye weeks.
Yeah. And I think that'll serve them well because, this new season that we only have 1 bye week in this elongated season.
Right.
But listen, man, if you see what you need to see as a coach and as a team, talent evaluators, really doesn't matter what us fans really want. As long as they're getting what they need to see as far as reps and stuff, and they count towards something that I don't know what they count towards, but for the coach themselves as far as comfort and what they think that they have installed and what they're trying to do come week 1. Us fans are just going to have to deal with it and just wait till week 1. You're right. I would love to see more Trey in the preseason, but to me, if it means health for the majority of this team and we can actually have a season where we don't lose 4 to 5 guys with season-ending injuries, then I'm okay with it. Because I think that hopefully, knock on wood, this might be the year where the Niners don't really have that completely devastating injury, and maybe they could actually make a run for it with a pretty healthy squad. So I'm okay with limited reps, even for Trey Lance.
No, I totally understand that, and that's what it comes down to, is have all your guys healthy by week 1 and start the season off, healthy.
Right.
Gotta say what's good to Josh Up. Thanks for tuning into the stream tonight. He says the second and third defense gave Green Bay issues, even though it was preseason. Yeah, they did.
Dude.
And speaking
have
of
some depth,
they do. Which player stood out to you on defense in the first preseason game against the Packers?
Samuel Womack, bro.
Yeah, I know.
He looks really good. Now, I know he was going against second string guys. I get that. But, what was it? What was he, a fifth rounder?
Fifth rounder.
Listen, man. Wow.
He made a splash.
Bro, he had 2 picks.
Yeah.
And that second pick, he pretty much ran the route in the receiver's pocket and picked that pass off. The other one was more or less just the physicality, which is something I think we've lacked with any of our corners. And the fact that him and Javarius Ward seem to be the type of guys that are willing to kind of mix it up with receivers is something that I'd love to see, because we've always been more of a zone defense and, let the team kind of work their way down the field and play left. But I'm liking this more aggressive approach on defense. And listen, man, they had their second stringers out there just like we did, and ours looked really nice. I had issues with because I had to buy the preseason package. It kept kicking me out. So I saw like chunks of the game.
Yeah.
But I saw the Womack stuff, and I was highly, highly impressed by Samuel Womack for sure. And Drake Jackson too.
Yeah.
Those are the 2 guys.
He didn't get any sacks.
No, but he was in there.
But he was in there, right.
That was the thing, him coming out of college, though. I don't know if it might have been Larry Krueger or somebody having on. It wasn't necessarily the numbers, but it was what he did as far as disrupting.
Right.
Where it was more of his MO. So you might not see Drake Jackson get 10 to 12 sacks this year, but he might be a menace in the backfield all the time, which will allow other guys to have big seasons. So to me, it doesn't really matter if he has sacks. If he's constantly helping Bosa bend that pocket to where the receiver kind of is enclosed, and you got Armstead in the middle with Kinlaw, who hopefully has a big year.
Yeah.
He's not going to be starting, what I assume. Him and Kamiko Toure and Sam Zanebucom seem like they're going to have some sort of something to happen in there. So, but yeah, those 2 guys really stood out for sure.
No, absolutely. And I love sacks, just like every NFL fan, but it's about, getting pressure on the quarterback. It's about, hurrying them. It's about getting that quarterback off of that spot, holding on to the ball a few more seconds. And that's what it's all about. And I don't think Drake Jackson is going to be a double-digit sack guy this year. I don't even think he'll really start, but he'll definitely be like a situational pass rusher I could see. And it's good, as you mentioned earlier, he did practice today after coming out of the game. He had that stinger. Fortunately, it wasn't anything more serious because
that's awesome.
We know the 49ers are going to be 10, 11 deep along that defensive line. I'm gonna read this comment and I'm gonna talk about who I thought stood out. We got Shifty in the building. What's good? Shifty says, really happy with how the team played on Friday. Lots of positives to build from. Absolutely. I mean, Ray McLeod, I thought he played pretty well, had a touchdown catch.
Yes.
Obviously Danny Gray, took the top off the defense. He just ran right by his defender. It was good to see. And as you mentioned, number 10 would never really, I don't think he would attempt that pass.
No.
Not sure why. I mean, especially if it's only preseason, it's only practice. For whatever reason, number 10 just wouldn't stretch the field. And I love how you say that Trey does have inconsistencies in the short game, but he can make that game that could, potentially blow out an opponent or change the momentum of the game. And he makes that big play, whether it's with his legs, whether it's with his arm. And I don't think number 10 can really do that. And I think that's the upside with Trey.
If Trey is effective with his scrambling, and running somewhat this year, right, and the run game is successful, teams are going to have to, play them closer to the line of scrimmage, which allows someone like Trey, who could move the ball over the top, the ability to have those one-on-ones or throws that could make splash plays and open a game wide open.
Right.
With Jimmy, the offense was so constricted to like 5 to 12 yards of just like slants, digs, and crossers constantly.
Yeah.
It's like nauseating, and then anytime you would have passed anything down the field, it was always a turnover. You know what I mean? Like Trey having his issues in camp with Fred Warner throwing all those interceptions to him. Some of it's Trey, but I think a lot of it has to do with Fred. I just think Fred's that damn good.
Absolutely.
They know exactly what the 49ers are running. It's not a mystery at this point. Yeah, Trey, to me with Trey, and I'll keep saying this, is he just needs the reps and keeping the ability to throw the ball the same way every throw. Like he has to have that repeat delivery, that repeat mechanics, because that's, I think, what his inaccuracy comes from. Once that part of his game becomes developed, the other part of his game, which is to press the defense and be able to move the ball downfield, is getting even more dangerous because now he can hit you from all areas. So
absolutely.
To me, it's a 3-year process. We will know what Trey Lance is in 3 years. If in 3 years he's still this guy, then he's not the guy.
Right.
But if he's showing the arrow going up and we see improvement from season to season, with this window right now of talent, this is the deepest team we've had in a long time. And the Niners might not win it this year, but maybe they win it next year. Maybe it's just everybody's like trying to rush everything to happen right now and like let the process kind of take care of itself. You know what I mean? So I was really, that preseason game gave me just enough excitement without getting anybody injured severely. So I'm good.
No, absolutely. And NYCE mentions Trey Lance. He says, totally agree. I want to see him working on those finesse passes and those mid passes, making those more consistent. Practice is where he should be working on that. So I'm not worried about his practice stats. Hey, totally agree. Agree. And in reference to Deebo Samuel, NYCE says, I wouldn't be surprised if Deebo looks for a new agent. LOL. I think proposing a trade was a scheme by his agent to see what the team would do. 2 teams traded and 3 kept their player. Yeah. And the agent doesn't care what team you get traded to or what team gives you that max extension. They just want you to get paid so they can get their cut.
Yeah, exactly. It's all about them getting that cut. Yeah,
exactly. At NYCE says Womack. Now, the 49ers drafted Samuel Womack in the 5th round. Now I'm going to tell you guys some names that the 49ers have drafted in the 5th round in the Shanahan-Lynch era. George Kittle, perennial Pro Bowler, one of the best tight ends in the NFL. Dre Greenlaw, I think he helps this defense. I think he is, one of the best linebackers. That's not like your starter. That's not your Fred Warner. Hopefully we can keep Dre Greenlaw, this offseason. We'll see what happens. Talanoa Hufanga made a huge hit in the preseason game.
Oh, I forgot about that. Oh my Lord.
Welcome to the NFL, Rook. That was
wow.
Yeah.
I was thinking like save that for the regular season, homie. Right. Dude, that was beautiful.
Also, Jalen Moore, who I think he can play multiple positions along this offensive line. Colton McKivitz, I think he played a lot of snaps, on against the Packers, and I think he could be vying for that right tackle spot. If McGlinchey, we know McGlinchey kind of re-aggravated his knee injury, so we'll see what happens with that. Also, who could forget DJ Reed, a corner that we never should have cut, who was with the Seattle, played pretty well. I'm not sure if he's still with Seattle this year.
No, but he went somewhere else. I forget where. Did he go to the Jets? For the Broncos, one of those teams.
Yeah, but I know he signed a contract extension. And so these are the players that we've drafted in the 5th round. And Samuel Womack, man, I mean, that's a great first impression to have two interceptions. So huge kudos, shout out to John Lynch, Adam Peters, and the rest of the staff, because they do a hell of a job on day 2 and day 3 picks. So
damn right.
Yeah. So just wanted to mention that.
Oh, he's at the Broncos. He's with the Broncos.
With the Broncos. Okay.
Yeah. That he played yesterday.
Let's see. We got to talk about. Wait, I think there might have been one more player. I saw Oren Burks. He was just flying all around.
He made multiple tackles yesterday.
Yeah.
Yes.
He flashed.
Another good depth piece if, say, Greenlaw, Warner, or Aziz get hurt.
Right.
To add to already Flanagan Falls.
Exactly. And he's a special teams ace. So.
And he's a special teams guy, too. So, man, dude, listen, I'm just chilling. I'm relaxing until the season starts. But this has the makings of like a roster where it seemed like John Lynch and company really fired on all cylinders this offseason. Right. So to me, health is the biggest deal, Jay. I think health will really let us see how good this team is. Because sometimes we have all these things and we're all excited and then guys are dropping like flies. So hopefully that's not the case this year.
I would say there's no question this is one of the deepest teams, though, in the Shanahan-Lynch era, especially in the secondary. I mean, we've never really had a deep secondary. We've always really had a deep defensive line. And
I think both corners will be fine before the season starts. I think a lot of those injuries are injuries. You're just like, oh, you have a little strain. Okay, you're out,
Right. We're not going to rush you back. Exactly. Right. I saw Akeem Spence along the defensive line, the defensive tackle. And I mentioned him because, hey, there's no guarantee he's going to make the roster. But with Javon Kinlaw kind of slowly working his way back, Eric Armstead's not really taking, he's recovering from his injury. Hopefully he'll be back week 1. Akeem Spence could be a guy that could make the 53-man roster. You figure the 49ers, how many defensive tackles do you think the 49ers will keep? Obviously, you think Kinlaw, Armstead, Givens, could they keep 1 or 2 more? What do you think?
Givens, Greenlaw. I'm trying to think in my head.
Because they got
it's hard to say, man, because they have their ends too they got to worry about.
They got a lot of ends, yeah. Let me pull up
5 maybe
roster. Let me pull up the Niners roster real quick. Yeah, because you figure they're going to keep at least 8 defensive ends. You got to figure. Let's see. Let me pull up the roster real quick.
I should have worn my hat that was like yours. We would have been twins tonight.
Let's see. Okay, so Kinlaw, Hassan Ridgeway. I think he's hurt though.
Yeah, he's on it, and they said he's making his way back. So
okay,
that's right. I forgot about Ridgeway.
Yeah, Ridgeway. So Akeem Spence is there, of course. Kevin Atkins, he played a lot yesterday. It'll be interesting to see. I think they probably won't keep more than 4 defensive tackles. I don't think so. I'd be surprised if they keep more than 4 because they got a lot of edge.
Omanehu isn't he kind of like a mixed guy? Isn't he kind of a hybrid?
I think he can do both. I think he could do both, but he's kind of listed as an edge rusher, but right. He can also rush inside.
I know he can kick inside, which is awesome that you can have a guy who's multifaceted in a pinch. You know what I mean? So
absolutely. Got to talk about Tarvarius Moore. Ooh.
I've never been impressed with Tarvarius Moore.
Well, okay. They were in 0-man coverage, meaning, hey, you're playing man-to-man. There won't be any help for you with the safety over the top. So it's all on you. Now, Tarvarius Moore, he's got great speed, right? But one thing you can't do is you can't let the receiver get on your hip as a cornerback, because once he got on his hip, he just outran him, and Tarvarius Moore couldn't catch up. So I don't think that's Tarvarius Moore's strength, is man-to-man coverage. I mean, if he's playing a safety spot, I think he's better playing zone. But yeah, it was definitely a bad play on Moore's part, and it's something he can definitely work on. But I still think Tarvarius Moore is going to make the roster. I don't think his job is in jeopardy, because he could also be on special teams as well. So
yes, he'll still make this team, but it's definitely one of those things where you hope he doesn't get a prolonged exposure, because he's got range and he can do these things, but he's also has an ability to bust coverages and make a lot of mental errors, take bad angles. That was his issue in his first year he was drafted. It was the Pittsburgh Steelers game comes to mind, just taking horrendous angles on plays and allowing guys to make big plays. So hope and pray the Niners can keep both their safeties on the field all season. I mean, Hufunga's still a question mark. We don't know what he's going to be in the long run, but
right.
I'm still more confident with him and Ward than anybody else.
Hey, no question. I gotta say, what's good to David McNew. Thanks for tuning in.
The man is everywhere.
Tonight. Everywhere.
Thank you, David.
He says we better get used to the deep ball and plays getting extended. Absolutely. That's what number 5 brings to this offense. And I think
disrespect. That's funny.
Hey, did you see that video of him at the 49ers camp?
Hey, hey guys, about 20 years ago, I could chuck a ball that deep. I'm just saying, before my shoulder messed up.
What's with Dr. Disrespect? I don't even know who that guy is.
He's used to be a Twitch gamer, but something happened, so he was banished from Twitch. I don't know where he streams now. He's like a really famous gamer who just happens to be a really diehard 49er fan. A big dude, too. He's a big guy. Like, he's at least a good 6'5", at least.
Wow.
He is a massive human. But yeah, I'm not big on these like people that don't really have any talent and they're just gamers and they become famous. I always have big issues. Men and women alike, like using your attributes that you have as a human to make you famous is not. It's just lame.
I guess hey, that's the life, right?
Like, listen, we're YouTubers, right?
yeah.
We're YouTubers right now. Some of us, are former media guys and radio guys, and some of them have a leg up on, say, like a normal guy per se, like me, like a fan YouTuber. You have to be really special on YouTube and have a lot of talent to even be able to use it as a way to make it your everyday bread and butter.
It's pretty hard to do.
And to see some of these people who are gamers who just play video games, or people that just come in and are scantily clad, make money. It's like, man, what the hell, man? What happened to the world where we are like blue collar, where we go to work and are tired at the end of the day? It's like, you don't even need talent anymore, or you don't even need to have a craft anymore. You just, if you're damn good at video games and you're kind of pretty looking, you're good to go.
Hey, you got to use what you got to get what you want, right?
Apparently, your hustle is your hustle, and whatever that entails, I guess. Then, I guess I'm a hater. Then I don't know.
Can't knock the hustle, right?
No.
KD, what's good? Appreciate you tuning in to the stream tonight, man. Hopefully all is well.
What's up, Corey Davis?
What's good to Libby's World. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully you're having an excellent Sunday night. Got to talk about some news with the 49ers. Now, the 49ers have activated tight end Charlie Warner from the PUP list. Now, Charlie Warner was recovering from that core muscle surgery. So, the tight end room competition is heating up. I mean, Tanner Hudson, I thought he flashed for me. He's definitely good in catching the ball. We'll see what you got to be a great blocker in this offense. So
yes, you do.
If he's not able to block on par with Kittle or Warner,
Dwelly got blown up on that one play.
Yeah,
I forgot what play it was, but man, Dwelly looked bad.
I've never really been impressed with Dwelly.
Me neither. He's more of a possession guy near the goal line. Like,
but they don't use him. They never throw him the ball. Like it's.
I've never been much of a Dwelly guy. I've always looked for the 49ers to kind of go along the Patriots way of doing things and maybe get a guy that's comparable.
Right.
So we can have a 1-2 combination. Like, I think Kittle would benefit with a guy across from him that could definitely threaten the defense, because it's usually Kittle and a bunch of blockers. You know what I mean? Kittle is so dynamic in his skill set. He can catch the ball. He can run block. He can do anything, really. He's the man. And then everybody across from him is usually just some utility guy that could play fullback in a pinch. You know what I mean? Like, I want something more than that. So.
And I think Tanner Hudson could be that.
I've been hearing about him in camp, Tanner Hudson. Again, with the glitching of the app yesterday, there was things I missed. Hopefully, we can see more of it in the second preseason game, and I can get, because I had a stream with the Camper Report, and we both had it. I didn't. We had some stuff that we just didn't watch, and I'm like, hey, Camperman, I was like, we both got to watch the games completely through next time, man. We got to be more accurate with our analysis. And he's like, bet. It's a deal. So hopefully the thing works and I can get it.
And it's kind of hard to watch the whole game. And
it's tough.
Because do I watch the offensive linemen? Do I watch the running backs? You
got to pick what you're going to watch and what you're going to cover on your channel.
Right.
Everybody's channel is different. So
also Tanner Hudson, in the game versus the Packers, he had multiple catches for 27 yards and a touchdown. So, Hudson can be, I think if it were me, if the 49ers keep 3 tight ends on the roster, obviously it's Kittle. Warner probably will make it. And then it's, I guess, I like Tyler Kroft. I know what he did a few years ago with Cincinnati. He was a pretty good receiving tight end. I don't envision the 49ers keeping 4 tight ends on the active roster. So if it were your decision, if you're John Lynch, after Kittle who rounds out the tight end room for you? And if the 49ers only keep 3 tight ends?
Well, if you're going to keep Charlie Warner based on his blocking, there's 2 right there. So it's going to be a toss up between Croft, Tanner Hudson, and Dwelly.
Yeah.
I just think that you need somebody who's a viable receiving threat across from Kittle. I want to see this offense be more dynamic, and why not have another tight end that can move, even if he's just a one-trick pony. Maybe his blocking is standard, but he's got decent hands and he can get open. He can find a little wrinkle here and there. I definitely need to watch the last 2 preseason games and maybe zone in my focus down the tight ends and see who really stands out before I can give you a really concrete answer.
No, I totally respect that. If it were me, I think you're probably going to keep a tight end on the practice squad. So it's either, for me, the practice squad, it'd either be Tanner Hudson or Croft for me, and I would just cut Dwelly. I've just seen enough. I haven't seen anything that really stood out. I think he's, at this point.
You're like school. You're like me with school.
Yeah.
I've never been a school guy. Everyone's like, oh, you did really well in 2019. I'm like, he did okay.
Yeah. He's coming back from he had the torn ACL.
Yeah.
He's coming back.
He's never really been a super talented guy. You know, he was a 6th rounder. I mean, he is what he is. He's got a really odd shaped body. Coming from a guy who has an odd shaped body, he's got a really odd shaped body.
Also, talking about some other, 49ers injury news, Daniel Brunskill, he's got a hamstring injury. And I believe he's out. Let me double check. I believe he's going to be out for, let's see. Wrote it down. I think he's going to be out for a few weeks, I believe. Daniel Brunskill, with a hamstring injury that he suffered in the game. Also, you look at Drake Jackson. He just had the stinger. He practiced. He's fine. Dante Johnson's got a rib cartilage fracture. I believe he's going to be out. I believe they listed him as week to week.
I've had rib cartilage. I've overstretched rib cartilage. That's painful.
That's painful. Yeah. And he's going to be tackling. He's going to be running.
Yeah.
But we know Dante Johnson, he's going to get cut. He's going to get brought back.
Yep.
And this, hey, Dante Johnson can play.
Dante Johnson will be on this team at some point this season, guys. I'm just letting you know right now.
Absolutely.
It's just accepted. It's part of life. Death, taxes, and Dante Johnson.
Pretty much. Danny Grays, he's got hip back soreness. He's listed as day-to-day. Mike McGlinchey's got some knee soreness.
Yeah, that is concerning, bro.
Yeah.
Is it connected to his quad is what I want to know.
Would love to know if it's the same leg. I'm not sure. I don't know if they indicated that. But if it is the same leg, it's definitely concerning.
I'll tell you what, bro. I know the Niners always want to do everything in-house. Moving Jimmy Garoppolo off the books. The Niners are one of those teams where, like, hey, if they're having a really good season, mid-season, they might make a trade or whatever.
Yeah.
What would be your opinion on them if something happened with, say, a guy like McGlinchey? Would you be against the Niners maybe making a trade before the season starts on an offensive tackle, maybe like someone who's good but it might get cut?
Well, we brought in I think is
from the Bills,
Jalen Mills, I believe.
Yeah, I heard he was more of a guard, right? Or can he play tackle?
No, he's played tackle majority of his career.
Okay,
I believe he's played in like 87 games.
Okay,
with a few different teams. So he's a veteran. He's played. I think he's played with the Bills the last few years.
Yes.
So he's had deep playoffs runs.
That's true.
I don't know if he played in the preseason game though. I would really have to look back, but there's a reason why the 49ers picked him up. And I don't think the 49ers would trade for a right tackle.
You're right. And it's just concerning.
Absolutely.
Your right tackle is a super huge part of your offense. We saw pretty much the whole starting offensive line minus Trent Williams. We saw Aaron Banks. We saw Burford looks really good, by the way.
Yeah, he looks really
he's
good
a
at the point of attack. Yeah, and he plays with a certain tenacity that
I get a little bit of a Larry Allen vibe from him. Because Larry Allen was, even though he was a Cowboy, and I hated the Cowboys, I loved Larry Allen. He was an absolute beast.
Yeah. Hall of Fame guard.
Hell yeah.
Larry Allen. Play with the Cowboys, play with the Niners. Yeah, I mean, no doubt. He's got a mean streak in him. That's for sure.
Yeah, I love offensive linemen that have mean streaks. That's great.
Absolutely. NYC says, do you see us carrying 3 quarterbacks? I hope so. Media makes it seem like we lost in trading for Lance, but I feel we won that trade. Do you feel us not having that first pick hurt us? Do you think we'll carry 3 quarterbacks on the active roster?
I think
and I'm not sure if
that's a good
NYC
question.
meant that, or because you could have 2 on the active roster, 1 on the practice squad.
I do think they're going to carry 3.
Okay.
I do.
And it's
going because I mean, you have to, right?
I don't think so. Up on game day, I don't think they'll have 3. I think
maybe 2 on game day, but 3
on the practice squad.
Yeah. Okay. And you could always move them. You can vacillate them between the practice squad and the roster, right?
Exactly. That's what I think would happen. Huge shout out to Corey Davis, man. Appreciate that $5 super sticker. Hot diggity dog. I appreciate that, man. Hopefully you are enjoying the show.
Corey Davis with that disposable income.
Appreciate that, man. So also to answer NYC's question, do you feel us not having that first pick hurt us?
Not really. We're very deep. We're a very deep team. I think we have very little needs. I think in the long run, if what we get out of Trey Lance is what we think and believe we're going to get out of him, I think it'll be a small price to pay. You know what I mean? So in the short term, it might hurt us a little bit because maybe there's somebody in the first round that we saw last year's draft or in this coming year's draft. We're like, oh man, I wish we had a first rounder. He'd be a unneeded but awesome addition. You know what I mean? Like we don't really need him, but like, man, you have him, you'd put you over the top. That's kind of the only way I looked at it. Like this year with Christian Watson, everybody was saying he was going to be a first round wide receiver. And I'm like, man, if the Niners would have had a first rounder, Christian Watson would have been an ideal person. But I don't even think he ended up going in the first round. Christian Watson,
early second to the Packers, right. I believe.
So yeah, we'll see. We're not going to know NYC for a couple of years whether it was a good trade or not. Right now, we're still in the early stages of finding out what Trey Lance really is. So.
Yeah, I like what the wise soul said. He said, "Water is wet, fire is hot. Dante Johnson will be on the Niners.
The sky is blue." Yeah, all the yeah, exactly, all the metaphors.
Absolutely. Let's see. So, got to talk about Deshaun Watson. The Deshaun Watson decision has to be looming. So I think originally he was given a 6-game suspension.
Right.
Roger Goodell in the NFL got another arbiter or another judge to basically look at the sentencing again and look at the case.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens. It seems like the NFL wants to get at least a full year ban or at least 12 games.
At least.
Now, if the NFL suspends Watson 12 games, do you think Cleveland becomes the first, or I should say the number 1 team that wants Jimmy G, or do you feel like another team would be interested as well? And could we possibly have on our hands a what's the word? What's the phrase? Not a fire sale. It's the opposite of that. Where there's a huge market brewing for Jimmy G. Is that possible, or do you think Cleveland would be the number 1 option for Jimmy?
Well, a lot of us thought because of rushed reporting that the Jets might be an option, but between people reporting that inaccurately and YouTubers reporting that falsely and not letting the thing play out, I think a lot of us got excited about that whole situation. Because if he would have been out for the season, that Garoppolo is a no-brainer, right? The Browns now with this situation, this is just talk, and this is just what's the word I'm looking for? Conversation. But they're saying that the Niners to take on some of that salary, that there's a chance that he could be moved to the Browns.
Yeah.
If I'm the Niners, I don't take on any of that salary.
Right.
But,
right.
It's really the Browns or bust, bro, unless somebody gets hurt within the next 2 weeks. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I just don't see a big of a market for Jimmy.
I mean, there's been talk that the Giants quarterbacks are terrible. Pittsburgh's quarterbacks aren't really well, but it would be surprising to bring on Jimmy G. He has to learn the new offense. And I don't know if he would necessarily be that much of an upgrade.
Right.
I don't think he'll necessarily propel a team to the playoffs.
No.
Now, if
he's a solid guy who can be dependable, but
I think he'll keep you afloat if he's healthy. I think Cleveland will probably be his best landing spot, or maybe even Pittsburgh. But they got a good running game out there in Pittsburgh. But Cleveland's
Pittsburgh
got
would be an interesting situation too to monitor, because you're right, that's like a perfect situation for him. He's got pass catchers, he's got a good running game, decent defense. That's Jimmy Garoppolo is best suited at a team that he can kind of just ride along the coattails of other players. No offense to him, but that's just what he is.
Yeah, I mean, he's not going to really stretch the field. If he hands off the ball 30, 35 times and throws about 20 to 22 times, I think that's where he's most successful. Now, the interesting in Cleveland, the running back Kareem Hunt is, I think he's holding in. He wants a contract extension. Cleveland didn't want to give it to him. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But they've got good running backs. They've got wide receivers. So I think Cleveland would be a good destination for Jimmy. But I agree with you. I don't think the 49ers should pay any of Jimmy's salary. I don't think they should do that.
They paid him enough.
Yeah, exactly. Just outright release him. But then we have to worry about the Seattle Seahawks getting Jimmy. we can't allow that to happen, man. We definitely,
if we're getting beat by Jimmy Garoppolo and the Seahawks,
we're in trouble.
Something's wrong with our team, man, because that should not happen.
I agree.
Russell Wilson is one thing, but Jimmy, come on now.
Yeah.
Just guard the middle of the field. Just have Fred Warner just stand there the whole game and not move. He'll get at least 2 interceptions at least.
And that's what I was looking for, David. Bidding war for Jimmy. NYC says, as long as there is no Josh Norman signing, I will have a great season. LOL.
Hell yeah.
Oh, there is Jets could be in play because Wilson got hurt. Yeah, Wilson. I saw on ESPN, Wilson should be out the next 2 to 4 weeks.
Bone bruise with a little bit of like an MCL tear or strain or something like that.
Yeah.
A lot of people were like, oh, he's out for the year. And then like it totally was refuted. I almost jumped on the bandwagon and made a video about it. I'm like, I'm going to wait.
Yeah.
And sure enough.
I wasn't going to make a video because, I mean, honestly, it looked bad because we've seen torn ACLs.
Yeah, it was like a no contact injury.
No contact, right. But I was
he just fell over or something and injured himself. Can I say something about Jimmy Garoppolo?
Absolutely.
I tweeted this out one time and I got a lot of likes. I said, would we even be having this discussion if Jimmy was ugly?
You said he just pretty? That's why he getting all this attention?
Well, like the lady, so it was some lady that was talking about this and that and how they did him wrong. And I was like, I tweeted, I was like, would you care as much if he was a really ugly ugly guy? And she had I had about a gazillion likes, but no responses from her. I was just like, man, for such an average, but he's average playing talent, but maybe above average looks. I've never seen one man get so much run for being an average quarterback in my life.
It definitely helps that. I mean, if you take away Jimmy G and you just put up his numbers and you put up his success in the NFL, a lot of quarterbacks don't have that type of success.
Right.
2 NFC championship appearances, Super Bowl appearance. I'm not saying he's elite. I'm not saying
I had this conversation at work with a Cowboys fan. He's like, you're making a mistake letting Jimmy go. I was like, you got to look at the numbers. You got to look at things in context. That was the big thing on Twitter the other day with a lot of the arguing with Trey Lance was context. Yeah. You got to look at the context with this whole situation.
Also,
look at his playoff stats. Look at his playoff percentages and all that other stuff and how poor he is.
You have to take that into account. I mean, Kyle Shanahan basically took the ball out of his hands. So that's something to consider as well. Also, another knock on Jimmy, and this is not going to be a bashing Jimmy session, but
why not? No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Part of the reason he's not a franchise quarterback is because he can't stay healthy. He basically been hurt 2 out of 4 years, and you can't have a franchise quarterback be that injury prone. It's just
exactly.
You're not going to set yourself up for success. Got to say what's good to Niner sickness.
What up, OG?
Also, what's good to 49ers cutback? Appreciate you tuning into the stream tonight, man.
Nice. I love those guys.
They are good. They are buttoned up. They are very well, man. They put out good content, man.
We are spoiled in the 49ers YouTube
There's
land,
a ton
Jay.
of great Niner content creators.
I will say this, and I don't mean this in a disparaging way. We're oversaturated, but in a good way. Like there's some.
I think it's because we watch we're fans of the team, so we see it all.
But there's some fan bases that are not well represented on YouTube, man. 49ers. There was like this wave after guys like Ronbo and Nothing But Niners. That's where I got my inspiration was Nothing But Niners. I was thinking like, man, I want to do something like these guys.
Yeah.
You know, I'm never going to be the level of say like this guy or that guy who maybe is a scout or whatever. But like, it's awesome to be part of it. You know what I mean? There's so much brotherhood and connection. I'd say 98% of it is good people. You know, there's always those one or two bad apples that kind of try to spoil the bunch, but they don't. But Niner YouTube is great, man. I love all you guys.
No, absolutely. Great community. I gotta say, hot diggity dog. Appreciate that $10 super sticker, Blue Chew. Appreciate that. Gotta say, let's see. Gotta say, what's good to Roberto? Thanks for tuning in tonight. David says Jimmy G has been bashed to dust particles at this point. I don't hate him. I wish him luck, but not too much. I wish him luck, just not against the 49ers.
Exactly.
When he plays us, you know.
It's like my brother with the Dolphins. I will support the Dolphins when I'm not watching the 49ers until they play the 49ers, and then I want my team to smash them. But
absolutely, man. Well, this has been, we reached an hour, man. This has been a great show. Went by super fast.
Awesome.
Looking forward to when we can collab again. For those that may not know 49ers First Takes, let the people know where you can find all your content, all your social media platforms. Let the people know.
I'm on Facebook with my normal name, Aaron Labigan. I might be leaving Facebook for just because it's not really serving me too much as far as the YouTube thing goes. But my Twitter is 49er First Takes. My Instagram is 49er First Takes. My channel is, similar to Jay's, is 49er News, 49er videos, whether it's mine or, stuff that comes from the 49ers themselves. I'm a Niners news channel, but I also like to live stream and have collaborations with the many great 49er YouTubers out there. It's been a great 3-year run, I think, so far. I got to meet someone like Jay pretty early on. Jay, I don't even know if you had a channel or if you did. It was in its very infant stages.
Yep, very early.
And I looked you up one day because you were in my chat a lot. And I'm like, he's got a freaking YouTube channel, this guy. I didn't even know. Because, when you first start on in your journey on YouTube, you're so fixated on hoping you get views and traction and people watch your stuff, and you don't even realize that there's maybe maybe a 30 people viewing your live stream, 6 to 10 of them are YouTubers themselves. So it's great. Yeah, my channel is 49er First Takes. It's 49er news, collaborations, live streams. I would like to do some vlogging one day. If I ever actually go to a 49ers game, I'll probably do some vlogging. There was talk of going this year with my nephew, who's a 49ers fan, my brother, and I have like a 6'8" friend who's a big Dolphins fan too. My brother and him just go on like a giant road trip with like a big giant guy who would like protect us if there's a fight at the stadium. I'm not a little guy myself, but I'm not 6'8". So if that happens and I was to do that, I would probably do some sort of vlogging, post clips showing me lose my mind or showing me complaining. Because, guys, I've been trying really hard to be more of a positive 49ers content creator, but the negative Nancy is still in there. So
that's I think you should keep it, man. I mean,
it's part of my MO.
Yes, it's part of your MO. There's no doubt about that. But as you said before, man, there's so many great content creators.
Yeah, dude.
We are spoiled. There's fans, there's scouts, there's people, former players, like Crocker, and then you have guys like who get unprecedented access, like Grant Cohn and David Lombardi. So yeah, man. Also, I shouldn't have started naming names, but
Rob Shue, Hammer, Jesse Miller, Niner Sickness,
a lot of content
Health Chronicles, all you guys, all you guys.
49ers cutback, all of them.
49ers
Man.
cutback.
All
Yeah.
of them.
Oh, we could go on for a really long time.
We're going for a really long time.
Yeah.
I actually was at training camp for 2 days, and one of the days I actually met Jason Aponte and also met Brad Graham. So that was
nice.
That was cool.
He's another. Brad.
Yeah. Oh,
Brad's
yeah.
been one of the OGs for a long time.
Yeah. So
those are the people I look up to.
Yeah, exactly. And my inspiration for starting the channel, of course, was Niner Sickness. So, he's always a guy. And I saw a little bit of Rombo too when I first started, but yeah, it was pretty much Rombo and Niner Sickness reason why I started. And
I think Rombo was a radio guy at one point.
Oh, really? Okay.
From what I was told, he did some sort of, because you can kind of tell some people have a really good command of the stick, the microphone. Rob Shue, for instance, has a majestic voice. Yes. Some people just have the voice for YouTube, man.
Right.
Or podcasting. You listen to them.
They have that gift. They have that gift.
Yeah. And they got the good. Listen, I'll say this. If you ever want to start a YouTube channel, one thing you should worry about once you get some traction, if you start to see people are watching you, is investing in your brand.
Yeah.
Whether it's a microphone, a camera, anything, because part of the experience is not only what you're saying, but what it sounds like and what it looks like. And people can be jarred by something that looks a little bit shaky. Not saying that that's the whole thing, but I feel like as part of the whole package,
right? I
think the content draws you in first. And then as you're able to get traction, if you invest into it, is always a good thing. So.
No, absolutely.
That's why I love that you got that Shure mic. Oh, I love it. You sound great, by the way.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, it's funny when I look at my videos from like even like a year ago, like the lighting, the camera, like it was. But you have to start somewhere.
Yeah, I'm still stuck in my bedroom right now. I have a green screen.
Yeah.
But my brother still lives with me, so like his room would have been my like. You guys don't understand how different things will look once I get a situation where I want. You'll still see the red lights, but it'll be more of like a fan wall, or neon sign.
Yeah.
I have a Joe Montana street sign that's as wide as my screen. Stuff like that. So one day, maybe when I'm like 6 years into YouTube, I'll finally have my own space to do it. But yeah, it's been fun, man. I had a really good time with you tonight. We need to do this more often. Both of us both of us try to find that balance of YouTube and work life and family kind of all, because I feel like if you just go slamming yourself, because I noticed for a while when I did YouTube, I became so immersed in it that I became burnt out.
Yeah.
And I lost passion for doing any of it.
Right.
And I think there's a time and place to take a breather, cut back a little bit. And then when you get rejuvenated and you get the juices flowing again, it's good to jump back in. You know what I mean? I'm trying this year to do at least 3 shows a week. A recap on Sunday, post game on Sunday, a recap like midweek, and then a preview to the following game later in the week. You know what I mean? Keep it 3 shows. Because I think it's just the right amount. Anything more than that to me is, at least for me, is too much. But
no, absolutely. And this is the best time to, start streaming.
Yeah.
The season is upon us.
Yep.
And like I said, it's been a great time having you on, man.
Hell yeah.
Looking forward to more, more collaborations between us.
Definitely.
And it's always good to collab with other 49er YouTubers, man. It's always good to collab. There's so many other 49er content creators out there. But yeah, it's always a blast having you on, man. Appreciate it.
Definitely. I appreciate that.
All right. So everyone have a great rest of your Sunday night. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button, subscribe before you head on out if you haven't. And hey, I'll see you guys in the next one. What's today? Sunday. So, but 49ers Vikings joint practices next week. I believe that is Wednesday, Thursday. And in the preseason game, I guess you were just gonna. What do you expect to see before you head out? What do you expect to see in the preseason game? Because Trey Lance is not playing. So, or I should say, who are you excited to see?
I just want to see more of the running backs. Definitely.
And that's one thing we didn't really hit on today.
Yeah. More in the running backs. I want to see the receiver depth. I'm going to see what we do beyond the starters again. I want to see Danny Gray make some more strides.
Yeah.
I don't know if Drake Jackson's going to play. I'd like to see him. I'd like to see Womack, some of the depth guys or the guys that are going to be part of the rotation on the pass rush or in the secondary. Yeah. Those kind of things. just to get a little more understanding of guys that the 49ers might have as backups, you know, second, third stringers. Like I said, hopefully I can get a better quality stream from the NFL website because I was having some problems. I was trying to stream it through my TV, which is possible, but I was just having all sorts of problems on that night. So I only watched like chunks, you know what I mean?
Okay.
So I was like, I hope Jay doesn't ask me specifics. I don't remember.
No, I mean, I know, man. It's preseason and it's kind of hard to focus. Well, who do I watch? Do I watch the defensive lineman? Do I watch the linebackers?
Trey was all I cared about when the game started. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
and then Danny
again,
Gray
he's only in
popped
10
off.
snaps. You know.
Then Danny Gray popped off, and then Womack popped off, and Drake Jackson popped off. I'm like, okay, we got some people here.
Absolutely, man. But huge shout out to everyone that was in the chat today. Appreciate the super chats. Katie says he has a YouTube channel, man. That's good, man.
Definitely.
You know, talk about the Niners. Absolutely. You guys check out Corey Davis' YouTube channel. Appreciate the kind words, John. He says, great stream, guys. Looking forward to more content throughout the season. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
He says, David says, go Niners. I hop on with Corey Davis. I stopped in and saw it. Appreciate that, man.
Awesome.
Also, Carcast. What's good? Appreciate
he has a channel as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody's got a channel. We're like Oprah. We're just handing out channels to everybody.
Content galore. Well, everyone have a great rest of your night, man. Take it easy. Thanks for tuning in tonight.